Okay, hi everybody. I'm Heather from Stamps by Judith and Heather, and I just want to say welcome today. Really wish we could be with you guys in person, but the year being what it is, we can't. So this is the next best thing, I guess. Just wanted to remind you, make sure you sign up for the door prize on Rafflecopter, I believe it is. So make sure you get that done and don't miss out on a chance to do that. Oops, let me set my timer so I know I don't go over my time. We're gonna do Halloween today. So this is our main card, our little bouncy ghost, which would make a cute table tent if you did it that way, or just a card front, dies bouncing out of your book, all sorts of things. We do have dies for several of these things. The ghost has a die. The, what are those called? Tombstones have a die. The rocks I did cut out by hand, but I'm going to show you that's really not that hard, and because they're rocks, they don't have to be perfect. But I'm going to show you coloring today. So I have my cardstock. I will post this as a picture. Or it'll be attached as a picture. I'm not quite sure how that works. I'll go back and do it, I think. These are the colors I'll be using, and I'll refer to this. So for my 063 rock wall, and I use Tombow Watercolor Markers. I have N95, N65, 942, 977, and so on. So I will go over that when I start coloring each one. We will also be using Crystal Lacquer and some double stick foam tape and some wire and just a little creativity. So we're going to start off, I'm actually not going to use my cardstock right away. I'm going to start off with my rock wall, which I had one pre-stamped, and I have set it somewhere. Well, we will stamp another one. I pre-stamped it just because I'm in my basement and it's a little bit more humid down here, and that gave it a minute to dry. But since it's somewhere, we have our stamps available mounted and unmounted. This one is the unmounted, obviously. Oh, and a little off the edge. I'm going to actually stamp it twice. And I'm using a quick drying ink for watercolors, which normally takes only a minute to dry, but like I said, since I'm in my basement, it'll take just a little bit longer. So while we're leaving that dry, I will get my colors out. So again, here they are. We have the N95. There's my light gray, the N65, which I am on top of my colors today. 942, it's a tan. 977, the 491, which is a soft teal. The 553, which is a blue, and the 192, which is kind of a mossy green. So those are my colors. And now my rock walls should be dry. So my rock wall is behind my tombstones, and it's really kind of fun to color because it doesn't have to be perfect. So what I'm going to do is start off with my lightest colors and ever so carefully throw the color on the stones. So I have that. Always work light to dark when you're using your colors. So I'm going to do that. And now I'm going to come back in with my soft tan. That's the 942. Which, you know what? It's really helpful when you put the right lids back on the right markers. Normally I check it on the side, but thankfully we'll be okay. I had the wrong lid on the wrong marker. So I'm coming back in with my 942, the soft tan, putting a little bit of tan on the rocks. And you can see my brush strokes aren't perfect. I'm not making them all even. Not the same amount of brown on each rock. There's my light brown. Then what I'm going to do is come back in and take my light brown and tap it to the 977, which is my darker brown. And just build up the little bit of mortar between my bricks or my rocks here and there. Add a little bit of dark to the rocks. Again, nothing is perfect. What this does by blending the two markers together, it gives me an intermediate tone of brown without having to get out another brown marker. So we do that. And I'm going to do the same thing with my two grays. The light gray I initially put on the rocks, and then the dark gray. And sometimes when I tap the two markers together, I get a splatter effect, which for the stones is kind of cool. So maybe I'll just refrain from doing it on the side. Just do it right over the rocks. And you can make these things look as cragey and dark as you want. For time's sake today, I'm not going to make them take too much time developing them. You'll get the idea. So do that, then I'll come back in, again, darker in between. You can add a texture to your rock by tapping it a little bit to create some speckles. Since rocks have all sorts of different looks, you can do that and get the right lids back on your right markers. Then I'm going to come back in with the 491. It's a soft teal. It just kind of brightens them a little bit. Again, another tone. And every time they turn out a little bit differently. These rocks are turning out a little more brown than the rocks did. I got a Post-it note stuck to my finger. The rocks did the first time. Okay, so basically that's my rocks. And then my ghosts are wiggling. I'm going to come in with the 192 green, and there can be a little bit of moss on the rocks. You have little bits of grass that grow up. Then the 553 blue, I always throw that in with my green. It just is a nice natural balancer. Okay, and then I'm going to finish off the bottom back with that 942 brown. Excuse me. Now to cut this out, we don't have a die for this one, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a rock wall. And one of the things I'm going to do is I want to make this look a little more tumbled down than this stamp actually is. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to go up to the top of the rock wall here. Maybe you go across 2 or 3, and then I'm going to actually go down into the wall and cut a few more out, because I want my wall to really look like it's broken down. Okay. So you can make your wall as crumbly as you want, and then we come across the bottom. All right, so there's my wall, and then you can use these extra bits, like here's the one from the last time, to color and add dimension if you wanted, add extra rocks popping out. So that's my wall. So I got my cardstock and my wall. I'm going to take and color some tombstones. They are colored in essentially the same way. Where are they? Tombstones. I didn't put them on here. I forgot my tombstones. I will add them, but they are the exact same colors as the rock wall. So I will get my tombstones added, or I will just make a note that the tombstones are the same color as the wall. So you take your soft gray. I'm going to do a couple of these. And the tombstones, the number is H176. So I'm just going to quickly color 2 of these, kind of assembly line it. Tap my light gray to my dark gray. Right. They don't have to be perfect. That's the nice thing about it. Is they're tombstones. Come back in then with your dark gray. Add the details, the shading. You can make them a little more brown if you want. Okay, I'm going to add some brown. And you can see how much care I take in coloring them perfectly. Can lighter, darker, a little bit of that 491, the soft teal. You can add some darker spots, you know, the granite, the marbling. The green on the bottom, so we don't want these things floating. So we have that. Add a little bit of blue. Come up onto the stone with the blue. And my brush strokes are very technical. They're little quick dashes. So it's not like I'm being perfect when I'm doing this. Come back underneath. Add my soft brown. And there are my 2 tombstones. And the filming today is by my son Nathan, so he may stop and tell me to pause so he can zoom in on things. Now, we do have a die for these. So I'm just going to quickly cut these out. We have our little die. Put it on. Makes it a lot easier than cutting it by hand. There's one. Whoops. Throwing my tombstones around. One tombstone. Cut out the second tombstone. Doesn't take long. Okay. And there's our second tombstone. So I have my 2 tombstones cut out. So right now, oh, and I found my, no, I was gonna say I found my original rock wall. So you can take your tombstones, and I'm actually going to glue one down to my page. This is just a simple glue stick. And I'm gonna put it at an of an angle. I got a little too much glue on there. So there's my first set of tombstones, and then you can put a little bit of dimensional double stick tape, which I have it right here. Oh, right here, behind the rock wall with cat hair stuck into it. It's a very important part of crafting. This is just a little bit, there's a little bit of a thickness to it, so it's not as popped out as Pop Dots make things. I prefer it to be a little bit tighter to the paper.
More subtle?
More subtle, yes. Thank you, Nathan. Okay, that's good. So we would stick this down. And you could make it at an angle if you want. And then I would put Pop Dots behind this one as well and bring it up a third level like these guys are. There's 3 levels. But I'm not going to do that right now. So the next thing are the ghosts. Right here, the ghost number is H160. This one I did add right there. So remember, I'm going to just do this right now. This is also the H176 tombstones, in case I forget to go back and do it. So those are also the same colors there. But there's my spook. So you have 761, 491, 553, N95, 055, and 985 spook colors. So I have my spooks stamped in black. And the first thing you want to do is, this is going to sound kind of silly, but give your spooks a little life. I guess we don't want our spooks to be dead. We're going to put a little pink on them. Gives them some personality. And then I'm going to come back in with my 491. It's the soft teal. And I'm going beyond the lines because we have a die for this one, so it'll cut it out, which is nice.
Would you have stayed in the lines anyway?
Would I have stayed in the lines anyway? No, Nathan, I would not have stayed in the lines anyway. He knows me by now. So 553 blue. Again, quick brush strokes. I might have stayed in the lines a little better than I'm doing right now, but not a whole lot. 553 blue, and then I'm going to come back in with my soft gray and just kind of tie those colors together. Okay, but we need to give his mouth and his eyeballs a little light, so 055, and then the 985. All right, so I have these two, and I'm going to just cut one out to show you right now. Again, we have the die, and the die actually comes with the set. The spook and the tombstones come in a set, and those can be purchased on our website, stampsbyjudith.com. Okay, I'm going to put one of the ghosts' dies on there. Table is getting a little full. Okay, I'm just gonna cut that out. Okay, so there is our little spook. So we have one cut out. I have some already done. Right here, I have 3 of them already done, and they're on wires, and I want to show you how to do that. So I have my little wire. I got this from the hardware store. It's just their silver gauge. And I'm going to take and bend a little loop. And then I'm going to take my Crystal Lacquer. Crystal Lacquer is this product. You keep it upside down in a cup with a damp paper towel at the bottom because it keeps this little tiny skinny tip open. When you're not using it, keep it upside down in that damp paper towel, but I wrap mine with a plastic bag so my paper towel doesn't dry out, because if my paper towel dries out, the tip dries out. So I keep that plastic bag in there. And Crystal Lacquer is meant to keep things kind of shiny, but it also makes a great adhesive. So I'm going to put a blob of lacquer and then set my wire on there. And for something skinny like this, I also, just to give it a little stability, on the back side, add some lacquer to the arms. So that when that dries, they won't be quite so twizzly. So we put that on there. It's not going to stay on there, but I'm going to move it aside and it will.
Did you get any on your hand?
Oh, no, I did not get any lacquer on my hands. But I want to make sure that's down in the water. While that's over there drying, just like this, I have 3 done. You can see the lacquer is on the back. The arms are lacquered. So we have our little wall. I'm just going to set that tombstone aside. And we're going to take and just poke a little hole and stick your spook through. And I just take a piece of tape and tape the wire down. So then when you're done, you just bend it up and you have little bouncing spooks. Now obviously this one isn't looking quite as nice just because I'm going quickly. We have our little pumpkins, which I cut out. This is a stubby. It is 𝐂𝐴 321, and I stamped them, cut them out, and colored them orange. So you'd add those on there. And then we want to decorate it a little bit with some sticks and stubbies. And I have these on my list right here, the colors. This is �AA, wrong ink color, �AA 84. It's the fuzzy flower top. And I'm just going to take and stamp some fuzzy flower tops here and there.
Some shrubs.
Shrubs, little greenery. So I have that, and then I have my �AA 82, which is a delicate flower top. I'm going to add those. And then my dots, which are 𝐿𝐴 04 in blue. And I know I'm kind of whipping through this because I want to show you another fun idea quick with the ghosts while we have time. And then I'm going to take, so I got a fuzz on my bat. This is 𝐿𝐴 12. And then I have �AA 30. And one of the other things I just realized I didn't put in here are my cone flowers. Before I put everything down, I stamped some cone flowers in the background. I completely forgot about them. You can see them in there, just so I had my yellows and browns. So they're popped in the background. So before I stuck the rock wall down, I kind of masked this off and stamped a few cone flowers. And then I added some bright little adhesive blings. So I have my bouncy ghosts, my tombstones, and all sorts of things like that. But I wanted to show you with the ghosts, here they are, that the ghost doesn't always have to be 𝐂𝐤𝐡. So here is H160 Bee Ghost. So all I did was draw a little black top and use some of the blings. And the wing is a stubby that I cut out and then tucked behind the ghost. So this is AAA 301. We have our lion ghost. So he's just colored brown. Oh, and the stripes on the bee ghost were just the black marker, and then I edged it. Or not the black marker, the dark gray. This one, the lion's mane, is the fuzzy flower top. And then the ears were just a little piece of cardstock I cut out and put on there. How about our Grape Ghost? It's the ivy leaf and the solid balloon. So your ghost is dressed for Halloween as well. Here is our zebra ghost. I just cut out two little shapes to look like ears. Put a little slice behind his head so I could tuck his ears and put some black stripes on him. So my zebra ghost, and this is the one that's the most fun, I think. My mouse ghost. I just traced a little spot for his pants, balloons for his ears. So he's all dressed for Halloween. So those are just some fun little ghosts. So we have our Halloween popped out card. Don't forget to put the cone flowers behind it. Lots of little pumpkins. Some of these have pop dots, or not pop dots, the double stick tape behind them. You could even cut out some of the bats and make them bouncy if you wanted to. Here is my color sheet. If I don't remember to correct it, remember that the tombstones are the same color as the rock wall, all the way across. My ink colors I used when I stamped, and then the marker colors. And you can see lots of videos like this on our website. Join us Friday nights for videos. We'll be here. Don't forget to sign up for Raffle Copter and sign up for the door prizes. I mean, anywhere we can see you guys, we want to see you. But I'm glad you're here with us today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. So everybody have a great evening, morning, whatever you're stamping or scrapbooking. Bye, everybody.